Hey guys, okay, we've got a big update for the AI, a crazy big update apparently according to Liquid Rock. We've got loads of new stuff added, lots of things changed, and lots of things fixed. Most importantly, what this does is it makes the mod much easier to install. Okay, let's get to it. I'll show you how to do it. Okay. So this time around we don't have to download anything, it should all be auto-generated for us. We just need to install the mod and make sure it's all working. So what we need to do is have our server root folder. We also need to have our workshop folder. If you don't know where either of these are, you should be watching my, you must be new to this, and you should be watching my how to install DayZ Server video. I'll link that in the description. Mods you will need for this are expansion AI, expansion core, and you'll want to upload them. Other mods you will need for this are community online tools, dabs framework, and CF. So you will need those 5 mods for this to work. If you don't have those 5 mods, this will not work. So you just wait for it to upload, and that won't take very long. Okay, that's uploaded. So as I said before, you'll need CF, Community Online Tools, Dabs Framework, Expansion AI, and Expansion Core. So those 5 mods for this to work. So once you've uploaded them to your server, you need to grab the key from the keys folder, copy that, and then find your server's key folder and pop it in there. Paste it in. I've already got one. And you will need to do the same for Dabs Framework and Community Online Tools. So CF and Community Online Tools have the same key. Both the expansions have the same key, and Dabs Framework has a different key. So there are 3 keys in total that you'll need to move over. Okay, the next step is to make sure that your server knows they're there and tell them that it's there. So on Nitrado and a lot of other website servers, so this is Nitrado, you've got GTX Gaming and a couple of others. You need to, for Nitrado, you need to go to your general settings and you need to add them in. So what I do is I put them after CF and dabs and before community online tools. So copy just the name, so I go to rename it and then copy what's there so you get exactly the right name, and then put it after that semicolon there, paste it in, and then add another semicolon, and you do exactly the same for DayZ Expansion Core. Copy that, paste it after the semicolon, and add in another semicolon, and then you click Save Changes. And that is your mod installed. As easy as that. So you can click Start Server, and it will generate the files for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the server, and I'm then going to stop the server again, just to show you the files that have generated. Okay, now that I'm stopping the server is shutting down. What you might want to do is either refresh your server here or reload it, because I mean, if you're running it from your local computer, that won't matter, but sometimes these don't update properly. So this will ensure that it's all up to date. What you'll need to do to find these files that should have auto-generated is go into your config folder. Now for Nitrado it's called config. For GTX Gaming it's called SF or something like that, 2-letter thing. SC I think it is, sorry. And for a lot of others it's called profiles or player profiles. So you go into your profiles folder, your config folder, your SC folder, whatever it is, and you should have a folder named expansion mod. Hooray! So it installed successfully and generated some files. In here we have 3 folders. A loadouts folder in which we have all the loadouts so what the AI will be wearing. And you can pick these loadouts when you spawn them in. The logs, when the AI spawns in, it will show you a log of where they spawned and when they spawned. And settings. So the first thing really you should do is open your AI settings. If you're an admin, you need to get your Steam ID, and the easiest way to do that is to open up Steam and go into settings and enable the URL on your profile page. So you can see I've gone to Hepskie, and this is my Steam ID just here. So you highlight this number here, Control C, make sure you've got it all selected, close that and paste it in here. What you'll need to do is put in a double semicolon either side. So just like that, that's what you'll need. And then save it. And what that will mean is you can access the radial menu in game to be able to spawn them in and command them. I think the default button for that is T when you are in game. Okay, so so some more files that will have automatically generated. If we go into MP missions, the mission that you're currently running, I've got in a mouse. There's an expansion folder that's magically appeared in there. And settings. Now we've got two settings files. Don't worry about this one for now. The AI Patrol Settings. This is an important folder. This is really cool what they've done with this now. So those of you that have seen one of these files before will notice quite a few new things. So we have a whole new section here called Event Crash Patrol. So a crash, like a heli crash for instance. So here we have the faction that's going to spawn, it's west. We have the event name. So this is an event that DayZ already has going. That is in the CFG events thingamabob. And the event name is that. So you'll have a loadout file, which you can specify here. If you leave it blank, it will have a default loadout. But if you make, I don't know, you want a load of thugs with baseball bats, you can make your own patrols settings. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And paste the name of the patrol file in there, and they will spawn in that particular loadout. This is the number of the AI, so 5, but there's a little minus in front of it. Now what that means is you can have anywhere between 1 and 5 AI spawn. So if you have -10, it'll be anywhere between 1 and 10 spawn, which I think is really cool. If you just have 5, you'll have 5 spawn every single time. Their behavior is patrol. Now what that means is they'll walk about. They will go on patrol. Speed, they will walk. And when they are now under threat, so if they have guns aimed at them or zombies near them, they'll start running around. They'll sprint. Now what this means is it's the minimum distance radius that this particular group of AI will spawn from a player. So this is set to -2, which is the default, and the default setting is up here. So anytime one of these is set to -2, it will refer to this. So currently this is 1 meter, so they can spawn right in front of you 1 meter away. I suggest you change this to something like, I don't know, 300, so you can't actually see them spawn because it's a bit unrealistic otherwise. And the max distance, you can guess what that is. That's set to the default there as well. Once you're over 1,200 meters away, they will despawn to save server performance. Can be looted. If it's 1, they can be looted. If it's 0, they can't be looted. Unlimited reload. If your AI has at least 1 magazine in their backpack or on them, if this is set to 1, that means that magazine will always be full of ammo. So when they reload, they'll put the other magazine they've taken out in their backpack, and that will fill with ammo. So essentially they have unlimited ammo, but only for ones with magazines, I believe. Chance. There is a 100% chance for this to happen. So every time this wreck appears, there is a 100% chance that the AI will spawn with it. If you set it to 0.5, that means there's a 50% chance the AI will spawn with it. So that's how the heli crash are set up. And this looks like it's just 2 because there's 2 sections here, but this is actually any time an event gets called with a rec of an MI8 or a UH1Y. UE. Yeah. Now the next bit are the patrols. These are the ones that people might be used to already. This is when you get the AI wandering around the map. This is very similar to the settings up here. The only ones that are a bit different are this one and the actual waypoints. The people that are used to this, they will be used to seeing those 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 settings, and then this will have started. So all of that is new, and underneath this, the patrol coordinates, these are new as well. So just keep that in mind if you have already done this before for an old version, because it's changed a fair bit. So this is your starting position for your AI. This is where they will spawn in, and I highly suggest that your first waypoint is exactly the same, because if you have your first waypoint the same as your start position, that means that they will always come back to their first waypoint eventually. And if you're having them patrol a certain area, and you say you start at a police station and you want them to go around the corner and come back again, and you haven't got your waypoint, your first waypoint as the same as your start position, they will not go back to the start position. I mean, you might want them not to go back to the start position, but in which case you don't want that to be the same. But I pretty much all situations want them to return to the start position. Anyway, so you can have various different behaviors. You can have patrol, which means they will patrol about. So they will go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the first coordinate, second coordinate, third coordinate, fourth coordinate, and then they will do it again. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, etc., etc. Now if you've got reverse, that's slightly different. Like here, they will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they'll go back down it. 3, 2, 1. And they'll keep going like that. 2, 3, 4, 3. You get it. And they're both useful for various things. Different speeds. You can have walk, jog, or sprint. Yeah, and that's basically a nice way to set up your own patrols. And tell you what, we'll do that right now. We'll set up our own custom patrol. So this here is one patrol. Let me just make this a bit bigger so you can see the whole thing. That is one whole section of a patrol. So to make your own one, I suggest you copy that and paste it just below. So we have an identical one to the one up there. Now we need to make it our own. So you could, if you wanted, put in a custom loadout file and specify which one you want. And the way you do that is you go to your config or SC or player profiles folder, go into expansion mod, and then into loadouts. And you pick one of these. So I'm going to pick, I mean, you could make your own one of these, which I might show you how to do in a bit, but I'm going to pick the Gorka loadout. So I'm going to copy that and paste that into there between these quotation marks. So we are going to have the Gorka loadout on this particular patrol. So on this we will have, let's say 5 AI, and their behavior will be reverse, and they will walk. If they're just doing their normal patrol, they will walk, and if they come under threat, they'll start running either towards or away from the enemy. Respawn time could be default. And I want the minimum radius to be, what should that be? Let's have it as 200. So if the player is 200 meters away, they can spawn. And I leave that as the default, which is the same as at the top here, 1200. Okay. So let's try and pick a start position, shall we? And a good website for that is, wrong one. A good website for that is iSurvive. I'll put a link to this in the description. You can pick your own map. I am currently on Namalsk, so let's select the Namalsk map, and I'm going to make a patrol at the airfield because why not? And what I'm going to make them do is I'm going to make them go start here. So this can be our start position. So if you look down here, we have our X coordinate here, and on the right we have our Z coordinate. So X and Z coordinates. So an easy way to get those coordinates is to mouse over wherever you want them to spawn in to start with. Do Control-C, and that will have copied those coordinates. And what I suggest you do is open up Notepad and paste them in here. So you have Control-V. Now the one on your left is your X coordinate, and what you will want to do is paste that into this first one here. That is your X coordinate. And then copy the one on the right there, and that is your Z coordinate. You copy that into there. So you've got your X and your Z coordinate. I will paste a clip here now of how to use community online tools to get your Y coordinate in game. I think it's via ESP tools. Yeah, I'll put that here. Okay, right, here we are again on the road to Cami. I'm just going to make my guy super duper invincible for now because I don't want him to die. And what we will need to do is put in our coordinates. So go player management, make sure that you are selected, and if there's anyone else in your server, it needs to be you that's selected, otherwise you'll end up teleporting other players around. Go to the coordinates that you need. So to do that, just then I'd hold down Alt and push Tab, and it cycled through the windows I had open. So what you'll want to do is go to that notepad where you copied the coordinates, copy your X coordinate, and get rid of the one that's in here, and then copy your Z coordinate and put it in your Z coordinate, Control V, and then what you want to do is push teleport to coordinates, and that will take you to those specific coordinates. Now sometimes this puts you underneath the map and you fall, so make sure you have God mode on, but what you will have to do to get out then is change your Y coordinate to something higher, basically. There we go, teleported us here. And to find out what the Y coordinate is for this exact position is you just untick that and tick that again, or push refresh coordinates. Now you can see that this is the Y coordinate. So all you got to do is yeah, all you got to do really is put down 6, because that's close enough to 6, or 6.1, and that'll do. So go back to your bit where you pasted the coordinates in here. If we can type in 6 or 6.1, that's fine. I might do 6 because it's close to 6. So 6, there we go. So that is your start position in here, where you are now. This is your start position for your patrol route. I'm just going to leave the game open for now. So what we have now is the first waypoint. And what did I say earlier about the first waypoint? It needs to be exactly the same as the start position. So what do? You just copy them over. Control-C, Control-V. Magic. Doesn't matter too much that they're out of line, but if it annoys you, just put them back again. There you So that's our start position and our first waypoint done. And for this, we are only going to have 2 waypoints. So I'm going to make sure that the commas are in the right place. So if you can see here, if you've got 1 waypoint, you have to put a comma for it to recognize that there's going to be another waypoint. And then a comma for there to recognize there's going to be another waypoint. A comma for it to recognize there's going to be another waypoint. And then when you've finished, you do not put a comma at the end there, because otherwise that messes it up. So I'm only going to have 2 coordinates for this. So I'm going to delete these 2. And then also what I've got to do is take away that comma, because that's the last coordinate. Boop. So let's set this second and final coordinate, shall we? So let's go back to our iSurvive map. So we started around here somewhere. We want to walk down here, say just to the end of the houses, and then walk back again. So put your mouse over it, copy the coordinates, Control-C, go to our notepad file, where we have the coordinates, paste them in there. So we have our X and Y coordinates. X is the top one, sorry, our X and Z coordinates. And Z is the bottom one. And you go back into your game to find your Y coordinates. It's a bit of a faff, but it's a good way to do it. Oh, sorry. Go to player management, click on your player, and copy the whichever one, doesn't matter. Let's do the X. Get rid of what's in there. Oops, sounds like the zombies are fighting with the AI down there. And then you want to copy your Z coordinate to there. And then teleport 2 coordinates. Bosh, we're on the other side of the city. And refresh that. Now you can see that it's very similar to our other coordinate, which is nice and handy. So again, I'm just going to put in 6. But sometimes, say if they're walking down a hill, that Y coordinate will change drastically. So for this, I'm just going to put in 6 again. Boop. And there we are. That is our waypoint done. So once you have your Y coordinate, you can paste it in there. And then what you need to do is make sure that the start position is the same as your first waypoint. Then vice versa. They need to be exactly the same. So you need to make sure they're both the same. And look, they are now, which is handy. So now what you want to do is get your second waypoint. So we started here. I want them to walk down here to about here. And then paste the second waypoint into here. Copy that. Control-C. Pop it into this second waypoint. Look, this is the second one. This is the first waypoint. We want it to go in the second one. So our X coordinate and our Y coordinate. Sorry, our Z coordinate. Ooh, I nearly fell into the trap then. And of course, go into Community Online Tools in game and find out the correct Y coordinate. Now we're going to get a third coordinate. So we went from here on our first coordinate and our start position to down to here. And now I want to go up to here. Copy that one. Paste it in here. Copy our, you're getting the hang of this by now, I'm sure. Copy your X coordinate, your Z coordinate. And then final coordinate for me, I want them to go up to here, near where the car is. So we need to make sure that's highlighted. Okay, paste that there. So the final one for me, put that in there. Put that in there. Now, because this is my last coordinate, I'll need to get rid of that. I need to get rid of this. And because it's the last coordinate, you'll need to remove this comma. So what these commas do throughout this file, actually, they basically tell you that there's something else going to happen below it that's related to what's above it. So if we look just here, we have our x coordinate, and then there's a comma to say the next coordinate will be printed below. And then we've got a y coordinate with another comma to say our z coordinate is below it. We've got that there. And we've finished our coordinates for this particular waypoint, so there is no comma. And then, so you can do the close bracket. So that is one lot of coordinates. And now there's a comma here as well, telling you that you want to put in another set of coordinates. And we've got there. But then when we've finished with these coordinates, we need to make sure that there is no comma there. Okay? And it's the same for all the rest of the file as well. You'll get used to it. So that's our patrol done. Then we'll go from here down to here, down to here, and then up to here. Now what I currently have is the behavior on reverse. So what they would end up doing is going back down here, back there, and back up there, which isn't exactly what I want. I mean, it would work. But what I want them to do is patrol or loop. So I'm going to put in patrol. So what that means is they will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas reverse, so that's patrol, and reverse is 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind when you're adding in your patrols, that you'll probably want one of two when they're actually moving around. And there we go. That's our custom patrol. So you can save that, and I'll post a clip of how you go and find them in game just here. Okay, so here we are in the server. What you will want to do is activate your community online tools. If you don't know how this works, again, as I said before, I have a tutorial on how to use this, or how to install it even, and how to use this side panel. We will be using ESP tools for this, so this is a good way to find your AI and make sure they're working. So what you want to do is what you'll want to do is tick players, because the AI are counted as players, not player AI. There's nothing in player AI at the moment. So you want players. Extend the range to 500 meters. Enable auto refresh. I put it for every 5 seconds, otherwise it gets really laggy. And then click show ESP. And oh look, you see one over there already. Unless that's actually a player, in which case I'm just going to kind of ignore it. What we will want to do is go on the map, and I know for a fact that they spawn at the airfield. So what you want to do is just put your player somewhere on the airfield, preferably away from zombies and all the rest of that, so you know they're not going to get hit by yourself. I can pop me just there. If you double click on the map, it teleports you, which is a really good feature. Good job, expansion. Oh, sorry, good job, Jacob. And then the best thing to do is hit insert and use your Q button to go up in the air, because this is spectator mode. And then look at the airfield, see if we've got anything spawning. Go for a little fly. Aha! So as I said before, you need to be at least 300 meters away for them to spawn. Where have we gone? There we are. So yeah, you need to be this far away from your own character or any other players for them to spawn. So here they are, running down the runway in their little patrol route. Going for a little jog. Yours may look a little different to this. This is one of the custom ones I set up, and they're all got the same at the moment. I might edit them a bit later. But yeah, they'll run down the runway, get to a certain point, cross it and turn around again, and it's kind of cool really. So that's how you can tell if they're working. Okay, let's just come out of this file then. There you go, look. Changed route, off they go. I better log out because they're going to kill me. Ah. Okay, so I'll show you how to make a custom loadout now. So we have our loadouts folder, which is in the config or SC or profiles, expansion mod, loadouts. So these are all your current loadouts that have automatically generated. So if you want to make another one, you need to duplicate the file, or you can copy and paste it, rename it. I'm just going to make another one called West Loadout Custom. And then open it up. And in here we can see what's going on with this file. So chance for this particular loadout to happen, we would like that to be 100%, because otherwise they might spawn naked. So here we have various different sections of his inventory, like his body, for instance. On his body, he will be spawning either a desert jacket or a USMC woodland jacket. And those are the two options. So that is one option right there. You can see there's a comma, same with the other file. There's a comma to say that there's going to be another option. And this is the other option. And there's no comma there, which means they are done with adding anything to the body. So that's one option there, comma, because there's going to be another one, two options. Okay. And health, this means the quality of the jacket. So it will either be, well, it will be somewhere between, let's just say that's 0.7, because that's a bit of a long number to say. Either be 0.7 or 1.0 or anywhere in between. So I'm guessing 1.0 is perfect condition, like, 100%. And this is 70% condition, which should probably be worn, I guess. And it's the same with the legs. It gives you several options. As it says here, this is the class name. Now, if you want to find the class name of something, it's actually what's listed in the types file. And to find the types, go into your missions folder, the mission that you're in, the DB folder, and then types. So for instance, if we wanted to change his pants, for instance, you need to find some pants. So pants. Oh, here we go. Look, mouse, clothes, pants. That's handy, isn't it? Oh, maybe not. Gorka pants. There you go. Let's change it to Gorka pants. So this here is the class name. Copy that. Pop that in there, in between the quotation marks. And there we go. He now has a chance to spawn with Gorka pants, summer. And you can do the same with all the different things here. Here's the feet category. Do the same with the boots. Do the change, instead of having boots, you could make him have Converse or whatever. We've got loads of options there. Grey, green. This is his back slot, so the thing that will appear on his back, which will be a backpack. He'll have a coyote bag, and it'll be brown. Now this is the interesting bit. Well, that's obviously the condition. Inside this backpack, in its cargo, will be, possibly be, a bandage. So bandage dressing. And there will also possibly be, because you can see the comma there, another bandage. These have a 0.1% chance of spawning. So 10%, sorry, a 10% chance of spawning. You also have a possible chem light and another possible chem light as well. So what you could do is you could give him, I don't know, what can he? Let's have a look for something he can have in his his backpack, shall we? Let's give him a 30 round MP5 mag in his backpack. So what you need to do is copy that whole section there. and paste it above or below. So we've got another bandage dressing there, and you just change the class name. It's as simple as that. So let's take this 30 round MP5 mag, placed it into there, and there we go. And what you could do is change that to 1.0, and that would mean he has a 100% chance of a 30 round MP5 mag spawning in the cargo of his backpack, which is on his back. It's simple as that, really. It looks complicated, but it's not really. Yeah, and there is several more sections to this. So you've got vest. If you keep going down, there is a headgear. So what's on his head? Keep going down. There's gloves. Oh, there's one other bit I can show you actually. So we had a look at the cargo before, didn't we? What was in the cargo? So if you want to attach something, so here we have headgear, and on the headgear we have some night vision goggles. And what you need to have night vision goggles to work? A battery. So in the inventory attachments of these night vision goggles, you want to put a battery. So class name, battery, and it has a 100% chance to spawn. That's how you attach something. So if you wanted to have a weapon that was fully kitted out, you could do it that way. So this is an interesting slot, hands. So this scout weapon will spawn in his hands, and it will be between 70% and 100% quality, and attached to that scout will be a scout magazine, 5-round magazine, and that has a 100% chance to spawn. There will also be an ACOG optic with a 30% chance to spawn, or ACOG times 6, which has a 15% chance to spawn, or a reflex optic, which has a very small percentage chance to spawn. And in that reflex optic, if it spawns, there will be a 9-volt battery. So you can be pretty in depth with these, and it can take a little while to get them going properly, but yeah, it's worth it. There is also a chance that another weapon will spawn with more magazines, etc., etc. You get the picture. So that's how you make your own custom loadout. Okay, and obviously you save it and close it. And that's about it really. If there's any questions or anything, obviously you start your server up. If there's any questions or anything, feel free to ask. Let me know. I'll put the Discord for Septic Falcon in the description. I'll also put the Discord for the expansion in the description. Yeah, best of luck.